The late Vice Mayor Doug Young was honored at the 2019 Excellence in Education Gala that benefits the Murfreesboro City Schools Foundation. Please enjoy the touching video that played at this year's event.
To know Doug Young was to experience servant leadership. Doug's passion for helping others and his commitment to making Murfreesboro a better place to live and work was seen in everything he touched. In addition to the City Council, Doug served as chairman of the MTSU College of Liberal Arts Advisory Board and the City Schools Foundation. He was vice chair of the Murfreesboro Planning Commission, chair of the Murfreesboro Board of Zoning Appeals, and he served on the St. Clair Senior Center Advisory Board.
I'm sorry I can't be with you tonight, but it's certainly an honor to be called upon to speak about my friend and my fellow council member, Doug Young. What a terrific individual Doug was, and brought so much to our council as we worked together from 2002 when we were both first elected to the council. The good thing about Doug was the background that he had with family, with the church, with Middle Tennessee State University, and he brought every bit of that experience to our council. And it really meant a lot to us in the council as we worked together. Those 12 years that I got to serve with Doug, I really can't tell you enough how much his experience and the people that he knew and the way he got along with people really helped our council and thus our community in every way.
Doug was a devoted community advocate, contributing his time and energy to organizations such as the MTSU Foundation and National Alumni Association, the Boy Scouts of America, the Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce, and the Downtown Business Association. If you spent any time around Doug, you quickly learned that his enthusiasm was contagious.
Those of us who knew Doug way back when and were for his fraternity brothers and great friends, he was known as Killer. But it was not the way you think of in these modern terrorist days. In his sense, he was known as Killer because of his enthusiasm. Whenever he was doing anything for anything, he would jump in 200% and give it his all. And once he started, it's kind of like, get out of the way, you know, it's getting done.
When he got excited, he got other people excited. So it's contagious.
Nothing slowed Doug down. He was the most positive person I think I've ever met. And you couldn't be around him for any time without that rubbing off on you.
Doug was a lifelong member of the First Presbyterian Church of Murfreesboro, where he served as a ruling elder, greeter, and Sunday school instructor for the Adventures in Membership class.
Church was big with us, where we went to youth camps and mission trips and different things like that were very important to him and bleeds over to me and my family now.
His love for that church, his love for the people, his love for the community, that all was brought together, not only in what he did there, but I think it was brought together in everything that he did.
In addition to having a servant heart, Doug loved to have fun.
They had asked us to come out and help set up sort of a carnival type place at our church with the balloon houses and the blow up slides. And we looked at each other after a while and we thought, that slide looks pretty good. And before you knew it, we were both running around, climbing up it, sliding down, running around, climbing, just like two kids.
Doug loved the lake. He was a lake person. He grew up. He had a speedboat, he had a pontoon boat, and then he had a lake house. And he wanted a houseboat, you know, big houseboat. So he was trying to get John Harney and me to be partners with him on a houseboat. And he went to Harney and said, they've agreed to do it. Well, we hadn't at the time, but he told them we had agreed to do it. And then he went to us and told the same thing. And so after we had committed and bought it and got it up at the lake and everything, of course, then we put together what Doug had done to us. And when we talked to him about it, he was just laughing. He said, yep, That worked pretty good, didn't it?
He would make tents in the house and invite the grandkids over, and he would camp in the tent with them. And he wouldn't stay all night. He'd end up on the couch watching over them. They went camping in the backyard. You know, that was, you know, Dad liked to do Boy Scouts and camping and hiking and things, so he bled that over with even the grandchildren. So it was really neat, you know, hearing, hey, can the girls come over and we're gonna camp out inside. It's too cold outside, so, or can they come over and spend the night? And he'd love it.
Doug was always involved in community events, and one thing he looked forward to each year was the Polar Bear Plunge.
I missed the first year of the Polar Bear Plunge. It just wasn't on my radar. Second year I heard about it, and I thought, that'd be neat. So Doug and I got together, and we decided thereon we were going to do the Polar Bear Plunge together. And we looked forward to it every year. We had a great time. We would laugh, we would jump in together. It was just something special we did. So good Lord willing, I'm going to keep doing it, and just another thing to kind of commemorate Doug.
A third-generation Murfreesboro resident, Doug attended Hobgood Elementary and continued through to MTSU. Doug was also commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army and served in military intelligence for 2 years. But most importantly, Doug married his high school sweetheart Susan, and together they raised a family that continues the Young family legacy in Murfreesboro. With 3 kids and 5 grandkids, Doug and Susan have blazed a trail for generations to come.
His lifetime love, Susan, they started dating at an early age. They were just a perfect match early on, even in high school. So it was just Doug and Susan.
He tried to keep us as kids active, out of trouble, as best as he could, just to try and have us learn different people and different situations in our life so that we could, when we grow up, that we can use those. My dad lived for the grandchildren. That was one thing that was awesome. You needed a reader at school and he was your guy. It was wonderful just seeing the excitement with him with my girls, and the giggling and the laughing and the cutting up was what he wanted. He wanted, you know, to hear the tension, and he really enjoyed having them around.
Doug helped lead Murfreesboro to new heights and new lengths. A champion of progress, Doug's influence can be seen as much downtown as on Medical Center Parkway, at the new Fire and Police Training Center, and in the miles of the Greenway.
Doug could be everybody's friend. He liked everything, and so he could talk with anybody. And he was caring. He really cared about you.
At the memorial service, John Harney talked about Doug's contributions to the city, and that his contributions will forever be appreciated, and they were long-term contributions, and that's why Murfreesboro, considering Doug, would be forever young.
I think if there's one thing that Doug was really involved in, it was education. He was totally involved in our schools. He believed in education for everyone, not just children, but education for our emergency responders. We see that growing right now out on Bridge Avenue, thanks to Doug Young.
My father loved the Greenway. I remember when it first opened in Thompson Lane section, and he would go down there and ride his bike or walk, you know, not only for exercise, but just to admire what the city had accomplished.
He wanted to help everybody that he could, and he did it with his heart. He really cared about the city of Murfreesboro, but more important, about the people of Murfreesboro.
I kind of laugh every once in a while. Doug and I never wanted to go anywhere else, and we were always proud that Murfreesboro accepted us and let us stay here. So he was grounded here, he loved it here, he wanted to stay here, and his family wanted to stay here. and I'm very proud of his family and the legacy that they have left for us.
The City School Foundation proudly honors and says thank you to the family of Doug Young for sharing your husband, father, and grandfather with us for so many years. May we always have a million dreams to keep us all awake. His legacy with us will live and become forever young.